Hi folks, Kevin back with Men Therapy, talking a little bit more about trauma today. In a video previously we talked about fight, flight, and freeze. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about what happens when you get stuck there. What does it look like to be stuck in fight or flight? What's it look like to be stuck in freeze? And then we'll start to talk a little bit about what you can do about it. So I want everybody to imagine their baseline. This is when your system is cozy, comfy, and safe. And you can feel that in that space there's a nice flow. There's a little bit of interest. Oh, I think I might be hungry and I'm going to go check out what's in the fridge. Or, oh, I see my loved one and I'm going to go give them a big hug. Right? And there's little bits of excitement, there's little bits of calm, and there's a nice flowing state between all of those. What happens in trauma is that at some point something very out of the ordinary happens. Something that our system doesn't think it can just easily flow with. So we get activated, we go up in fight or flight. And if in fact we're able to do something, say it's a dog running at us and we're able to get behind a door and shut it, right? Our heart's racing and our system is amped and that's fight or flight, but we ran, we fled, we got away. And a lot of times that's enough to help our systems resolve, right? So let's say I'm back inside the house, the dog walks away, take a breath and my body settles. That's a healthy response. But say we're in a car accident, excuse me, and we see something going wrong, where our car is sliding on the ice, we see the snowbank about to come up and hit us in the front, and we're grabbing onto that steering wheel, but there's nothing we can do. There's an action that we're trying to take, but we're stuck. We're not able to fix it. And then say the airbag goes off and poof, all right, now all of a sudden, I find myself filling out insurance forms and my heart's racing, but I really can't do anything about it. When that kind of thing happens, our body has amped up. It's got all this energy stored in it ready to fight or flight, but there's nothing it was able to do. And so a lot of times our system will get a little stuck in that place. When we get stuck, what it means is that our system is still preparing for danger, but there's nothing to do about it. So we start looking around for danger to match the negative feeling we're feeling inside, or that amped up feeling inside. So say I get back in the car the next day, this time maybe as soon as I sit down in the driver's seat, my heart's racing. Or I'm having nightmares about skidding out of control in my car. Or when somebody else drives, I get really nervous. And my anxiety just stays on for the entire trip. That's a sign that our body has not been able to amp up and then amp down, like we did in that earlier story about the dog, where we're successful in getting away. We talk about anxiety as something that is pretty normal in our culture, but what we're not talking about is what's underneath that. Like, why is our system stuck on anxious? And it's because there's an awful lot of things that happen to us in the world today where something hard or bad or difficult happens and we don't get time to really process it. I mean, looking at social media, looking at the news, like, you can have vicarious trauma where you're just looking at something and your system starts amping up, and then you switch to the next channel and you don't get to finish anything, right? Or it may start to feel like, wow, there's a lot of things to be anxious about. And that inner feeling that we have in our body, we start looking for it out in the world. We start matching it up. Well, there is a lot of good reasons to be anxious. The environment's collapsing, the world is ending, and what are we going to do about it, right? When some people seem to be doing just fine, our system is stuck on go. These are the kind of things where people get into trouble, right? And it's the kind of people who then develop symptoms. And we think about symptoms as bodily symptoms: heart racing, sweating, unable to settle down, unable to sleep, those kind of things. Psychological symptoms like diagnosed anxiety issues, panic attacks, social kind of anxiety or disorders. All of these kind of things start showing up as discrete problems, but really their background is that we had a traumatic incident and we weren't able to recover. Where it depends on that line, like, okay, are we talking about getting stuck in fight or flight, or are we starting to get stuck in freeze? Each of these different symptoms matches with a different place on that spectrum. And so helping understand your own experience of your symptoms. Say, I'm depressed right now and I can't feel anything and I don't want to go to work and I don't want to engage with my friends. That's going to be a little bit different than I'm too anxious to go to work, or I'm too anxious to talk to my friends, or every time I get in the car I'm freaking out, right? So looking at your life and understanding a little bit of this, these different kinds of symptoms, and understanding how it explains that our nervous system is stuck at different points can really be helpful in understanding the bigger picture of our trauma patterns. And once we understand that picture, then we can start to engage with that process and do something meaningful to help those symptoms move forward or change or heal. And we're going to talk about that in the next video. This was a bit of a long one. I hope you stayed with it. I'll try to post some lists of these kind of symptoms so that you have something to refer to as well. But I hope you'll visit us again, and hope this helps. Thanks so much.